Article 370 was not provided to us by the Constitution of Pakistan, it was provided to us by the Constitution of India. Any betrayal has to be fought back. Any such situation where you are second class citizens has to be fought back. Those who agree to this status, they are agents and they are soulless, emotionless, sentimental. They do not have the sense of dignity. I cannot speak for them and I do not have further words for them. I hardly saw people speaking about or asking me about basic facilities such as roads, electricity, or anything else. The only, cry and the slogan that I could hear from people in this campaigning was about the dignity that was snatched from us, the democratic rights that was snatched from us.
Srinagar goes to polls on 13th of May. And today we have one of the most popular candidates who's fighting from the National Conference, Mr. Aga Syed Ruhullah. He has been a cabinet minister in the Omar Abdullah-led government and right now is very popular among people because of his stand on Article 370. Welcome to ThePrint. Firstly, you have been very vocal about the abrogation of Article 370 and how it has affected the people. In fact, your election pitch also is around the same theme. Initially, people had thought that since it's been 5 years since the abrogation happened, so now people have stopped talking about it and it has gone onto the back burner also after Supreme Court stepped in. So what do you think? Is this still remains a poll issue? Of course it is, because most parties are talking about it. In fact, your election campaign is around it. How important it is and how it has become a significant issue during this election?
People didn't speak about it. It's not like that they didn't want to speak about it. It's because they weren't allowed to speak about it. The intimidation that came from the state, and to the extent that every voice was silenced. The journalists were intimidated, put under laws like UAPA was slapped, and the political activists were detained and still continue to be detained. You have examples of people being slapped with UAPA for posting an emoji on WhatsApp. When you have the intimidation from the state to this level, of course you have a population which prefers to remain silent, but that silence is not the endorsement for the status quo. And that's why this election becomes very important. This brings that opportunity to create the political space in which we can speak, we can express our sentiments, and we can give that strength to the people of Jammu and Kashmir through this platform and this electioneering and campaigning, that we can express our opinions, we can speak, we can dissent, we can express the dissent. This opportunity was otherwise denied to us. In a normal functional democracy, people should have right to dissent and protest. People of Jammu and Kashmir were not provided that. It was a one-way traffic. The onslaught that was carried out on the people of Jammu and Kashmir, after that onslaught, that means the decisions taken on August 5, 2019, there was a one-way traffic of propaganda. Both mainstream, quote-unquote mainstream media of the mainland India and the propaganda of machinery of BJP, RSS, as well as the state, was all one-sided and pushed one-sided narrative. The other shade and the other opinion was not allowed. So this brings us an opportunity, and that's why you can feel what I say, that people in this election do not engage enthusiastically, they engage sentimentally, which is bigger than, the degree of engagement is greater than enthusiasm. It's sentimental engagement, and that is the reason I feel this election is very important.
So you're saying that 370 is the central theme of this election in Kashmir?
It is. You go everywhere. I have been doing this campaigning through the length and breadth of my constituency. That spans 1 to 1/3 of the geography of Kashmir Valley, and I hardly saw people speaking about or asking me about basic facilities such as roads, electricity, or anything else. The only, cry and the slogan that I could hear from people in this campaigning was about the dignity that was snatched from us, the democratic rights that was snatched from us. And people feel that this is not a status that we subscribe to the Union of India for. This is a humiliation that we felt and continue to live in. We do not accept to live. We do not accept these decisions. We do not agree to this status. And through this election and election campaigning, I can feel and hear people saying that we need to send this message through this election to the parliament, and through the parliament to the rest of India, that the decisions that were forced upon us, we do not, I mean, that were not taken with our consent, and we do not agree with them. These decisions need to be revoked, and our dignity needs to be restored, and our democratic rights need to be restored.
When we spoke to voters on the ground, of course, this is one issue. They are talking about 370, their dignity, to reassert their identity. But they're also talking about these local issues that you just mentioned, that, the roads are in a deplorable condition and there's no electricity, water scarcity, unemployment. So have these key issues that are important to, say, any citizen, any resident of Srinagar have taken a backseat in this?
These issues have not taken a back seat, but they are not priority at the moment, and I'll explain why. To decide for yourself and to shape your economy and development, you need to have the authority to plan for your economy, to plan for your development. At the moment, you do not have that right to decide for yourself, to plan for yourself, to make policies for yourself. We have directives that come from India, and mainly mainland India, that is, and the better way to put is that comes from Nagpur and Delhi. Directives come from Nagpur and Delhi, and they decide where to put tiles, and they call those layers of tiles smart city. They decide where to cosmetically design roads and upgrade roads and call that smart city and development. While as we the people of this state know that the areas which need to be addressed, for example, only 5 kilometers away from that cosmetic smart city, that is Lal Chowk, you had an incident where more than 5 children died because we didn't have a bridge which was completed. The work on that bridge was started in a popular government, and the work on that bridge was stopped in this regime and in this administration. So the priorities are misplaced. The utilization of the funds is decided by Delhi and Nagpur. In this situation, you need to have the authority with yourself to decide for yourself. At the moment, that's not with us. Therefore, it's the onus of putting things in priority and putting things in perspective is on us. That's not on the other side. They will have a propaganda, but we need to counter that propaganda. That development, basic facilities are important to us, but they are not the priority at the moment, because we want to have that. We want to be the masters of our own destiny. We want to have that authority where we can plan for ourselves. At the moment, we do not have that. So therefore, it's very important at the moment to get our democratic rights back, get the status back where we can decide for ourselves.
So we were speaking with the other candidate, Mr. Ashraf Mir, who's contesting from Apni Party, and he told us that the issue of 370 is over. It's not coming back. It is just that these parties, he mentioned NC, are just playing with the emotions of the people. And these are not, this is not coming back. Everybody knows it, but it is just that they've made it an election issue to garner votes. However, the real issues lie in development and, the local issues that we spoke about, like in unemployment and other things. What is your reaction to that? And also, if in case NC wins, what will be your plan ahead?
For them, it's not coming back, and the reason is they have surrendered and given their services to the forces, those who took this away from us. And their ideology is, their political activity is committed to that ideology we took away from the people of Jammu and Kashmir, every right and dignity that we had. So they are slaves and agents of those forces and that ideology. For them, it's not coming back. But for the people of Jammu and Kashmir, it's paramount that the dignity is returned and the democratic rights are returned. And it's not only an emotion. We had constitutional agreement with the Union of India. It, for all reason and for all purposes, is a pragmatic ideology and stand of the people of Jammu and Kashmir. We had constitutional guarantee and arrangement with the Union of India. This Article 370 was not provided to us by the Constitution of Pakistan, it was provided to us by the Constitution of India. And Constitution of India promised us that we, while having the dignity, will have the democratic rights and authority of our own, over our own decisions. For us, the reason to accede to the Union of India was and is that we will have in this union the dignity that we aspire for, the democratic right that we asked for, and the Union of India promised us, and we'll be the masters of our own destiny. We want democratically to have the authority where we can decide for ourselves. Therefore, without that arrangement being restored, that status being restored, we consider ourselves as second-class citizens. This is not the reason this is not the reason why we, acceded to the Union of India. The empowerment, political empowerment, was the reason we acceded to the Union of India. We rejected the other idea because we didn't feel that we would be empowered there. And at the moment, if the ground is such, we are worse than the other option, I would call it that this is a betrayal. So any betrayal has to be fought back. Any such situation where you are second-class citizens has to be fought back. Those who agree to this status, they are agents and they are soulless, emotionless, sentimental. They do not have the sense of dignity. I cannot speak for them and I do not have further words for them. As far as your question of road ahead, we cannot change things in Parliament numerically with 3 MPs. That's a truth, that's a fact. But we can try and join forces with those political parties and states in India, those who want to see a more stronger federal structure in India. For example, states from South India aspire exactly and almost for the same thing as people of Jammu and Kashmir aspire for. The regional identity, to have authority to decide for themselves, is almost what the people from South India and the states of South India aspire for. They aspire for more stronger states. West Bengal has the similar ideology. States of Northeast India are on the same page. So we need to engage with them. Number one, we need to tell them that what you aspire for and what Jammu and Kashmir had is no different. Therefore, Article 370 was not anti-national article. It was an article of faith, and that was something that you aspire for. And through them, if we can educate the majority population of India that whatever was told to you about the Article 370 is not correct. Article 370 is a purpose for people of Jammu and Kashmir, and is a reason for people of Jammu and Kashmir to identify with the Union of India. It's not anti-national article. So if we can educate, number one, educate the population in India. Number two, join forces with those ideologies who want stronger states. Maybe one day we can have numbers in Parliament with the help of those allies and friends, where while they want to change or would want to change the federal structure to, better favor the states, we may get heard, and the dignity that we talk about, the rights that we talk about, numerically would be also possible to be restored.
Obviously, assembly election is also a very important factor. Supreme Court has said that it should be done before September 30th. And but what is your sense of the assembly election? I also read one of your statements and said in which you said that you won't be part of the assembly election.
I'm very sure about that. I have been saying that since the day one, and today I stand by that commitment. I see this status, this assembly is at the moment what I call glorified assembly, glorified municipality. It's toothless. The powers that it enjoyed were taken away from it. It was degraded from the most powerful assembly in entire Union of India to an assembly of Union territory. It had its own constitution. It had its right to make law for its state. Now the state is degraded. The status of assembly is degraded. It's the assembly of Union territory, which is divided into two. The constitution is taken away. the right to make law for itself is taken away, for its state is taken away. Any decision that is taken in this assembly can be vetoed by LG and can be vetoed by a secretary sitting in the home department in Delhi. So this degraded assembly does not suit the people of Jammu and Kashmir. And participating in that assembly, being part of that assembly, would tantamount to legitimizing that. And I would, it's my, for my own person, and I personally think if I participate in that, I'll be, I mean, my efforts will tantamount to legitimizing the status quo and the status of that assembly that I would not want to do. I would not want to give the legitimacy to this assembly. That's for my participation in the assembly. About the assembly elections itself, the constitution says, the law says that no assembly election, no election in India can be deferred beyond 6 months. The assembly of Jammu and Kashmir was dissolved in, if I remember correctly, November or December 2018. The natural course, the democratic course, principled course of this nation should have been that after within 6 months you should have had a new assembly in place. But it's almost now 6 to 7 years. There are no elections, and that speaks for itself. So I'm not sure about what Supreme Court said. Will that be implemented in letter and spirit? I'm not sure about that, because this regime has already violated the constitution and the law and the spirit of the constitution so much that the faith is degrading day by day.
Are you hopeful of Article 370 being restored? And if yes, then how?
The fight is long, but I'm hopeful. If I was not hopeful, I wouldn't be speaking for it. As I said, we need to rise. We need to gain the strength. For the last 5 years, we were turned silent. We were intimidated. Now we need to gather that courage and speak for ourselves. And after that, we need to find allies in the country. As I said, those political parties from south, from east of India, who want stronger federal India, in which states are stronger than the center. And we need to align with those forces. Maybe one day we'll get our dignity and right back. 370 can be restored. I see no reason to be hopeless.
Although you are very popular among the people, among the voters that we've been speaking to on the ground, but how tough is this contest with PDP on one hand and Apni Party on the other, and also amidst allegations that the administration and the police are actually, the BJP is backing up Apni Party to win this election?
Only since yesterday, I get calls from my colleagues that the workers are being arrested, they are being detained. And the calls only add up. Number of our party workers have been detained, and this shows that the administration is directed by the regime in Delhi, and it's working at the behest of the regime in Delhi to tilt the to tilt the ground in favor of a particular party which is a proxy of BJP. We already anticipated this election and the process and the democracy itself is not going to be as fair as it used to be. I anticipated it, we anticipated it, but we have faith in our own people. Maybe we come out in numbers and face this challenge. We have no other way. I cannot profess for gun and violence, because the elections are being tried to tempered. Ground is not equal. This doesn't give me any other option. This doesn't give me a violent option. This is the only option that I can explore and work on. So despite all this intimidation and unfair play from the regime, we are trying. We still hope and have some little faith in the democracy, and will use the institutions. I can only say that this election itself will give questions to will give answers to lot many questions that I personally have. Does India still want to be a democracy? Does India still want people of Jammu and Kashmir to identify with the rest of the union on values and principles? Or do they want to have a forced relationship? Or do they want to go away from the principles and the spirit of the foundation of India. So this is for the union and the state to answer.
Right. Last question. Jammu and Kashmir has not seen an election in a while. This is the first election of after abrogation of 370. In fact, there's been no assembly elections after 2014, and last it voted was in 2019. So, how do you see? And the voter turnout has always been very abysmal in constituencies that we have seen. In 2019, it was merely 13%. How do you see the mood? I mean, what is the mood of the general public this time? Do you see a more, a bigger margin of voter turnout this time?
I can anticipate the voter turnout go up. It will be higher than the last time, but how much needs to be seen? You'll get the answer tomorrow. I can see the sentiment among the people, and that sentiment asking them to, come out and speak for themselves through this institution. The urge and need to vote is there. I have had calls from, anonymous people calling me and telling me that this is the first and last call and that I would make to you. And I belong to the ideology which never, was in favor of elections. I have never voted. No one in our family have voted. But I can see hope in you, and I see the sentiments that I have. You reflect those sentiments, and at this time I feel that I need to vote, and if I don't, I will do a great disservice. And this is one example among hundreds of such phone calls, and I can assure you I have seen thousands of people in physically in front of me telling me the same thing. I can see that urge of voting expressing themselves through this institution. Therefore, I, number one, at the same time assure them that their this commitment, their hope that I have generated, I'll not let them down. This will not be betrayed. Number two, they need to stand on what they feel. They need to come out and explore this democratic institution. Explore it once. Try to give your shape to your sentiment electorally. And number three, I would want to tell the Union of India and the people of India, this is where we are and this is how we feel. If you at this moment temper and play with these emotions, which are somehow at least trying to utilize these democratic institutions, if you do not value this and value the democratic institutions, degrade for your own purposes or for the purpose of a particular regime, this will be the last nail in the coffin. And after this, no one will have hope in democracy. I, for myself, I am someone who has given blood for the democracy. My father was assassinated by the militants because we believed in the idea of democracy. I am at the moment on the edge. This is my last, hope. Maybe there is some ray of hope and we can put one last effort. If this is answered with the way where we do not see the principles and spirit of democracy in the behavior of the nation and the state, I'll be disheartened and taken away from this idea for all times to come.
Thank you so much. All the very best. We hope for the best for you. That was Mr. Ruhullah speaking with us regarding the upcoming elections in Srinagar, about the key agenda of Article 370 that still resonates among the public, and how the election may pan out. This is Ananya Bhardwaj reporting from Srinagar for ThePrint. Thank you for watching.